Welcome back, everybody. So the other day I took the 2003 Jaguar S-Type out, and unfortunately she went into limp home mode. So I've got the Jaguar SDD IDS system fired up just to see what's going on. The main thing I'm really interested in is looking at these the engine control module. So here you can see we've got three codes on here. So P1111 basically means that, as it says over here, the system check is complete. So that means that it's been through all of its checks. It's been enough mileage performed since the last clear down or reset of the ECU. P1582 basically means we've captured some freeze frame data. An event has occurred whilst we've been out driving, because basically yesterday when I was coming back home in the S-Type, she went into severe limp home mode. The red and amber warning lights on the dash were displayed. The revs were limited between 1000 and 1500 RPM. In a very sorry state. And I've got a feeling I may know what it is, but having just reviewed this code as well, the P0121, this is the infamous throttle position sensor. The basic saying is a bit of an issue there for powertrain warning lamp. We certainly had that. And you can see here what happened. Throttle motor relay disabled, the valve opener set to default, idle speed controlled by fuel injection intervention, idle speed adaptation inhibited. So yeah, it's in limp home mode. So you can see here what some of the possible causes are. So engine wiring, harness fault, the sensor itself, or it could be a fault with some of the other connected sensors, of course. So, and it then goes on to say what we can actually do. So check the throttle position sensor for security, mechanical damage and contamination, and there's a bit of a clue. Check the voltage supply. On the freeze frame, I've just collected some information on here. You can see 7.06 for the ATP. Fuel trims in there as well. Interesting on the left bank, that's quite high. 10.94, 10 point, yeah, interesting. So yeah, you can see the that's what's going on with when the fault code P0121 was logged. Now, interestingly, with this, there could be an issue with the connector itself. The reason I say that is that the last week or so, we've had biblical rain here. We've had over a month's rainfall in a space of a couple of days, and one thing I have noticed is that rain that collects on the windshield or the windscreen, that just drains straight down, and I have a funny feeling that all of that water has been channeled to the back of the throttle position sensor. So I think that perhaps the connector itself, or the throttle position sensor, the connector itself may have been compromised with some moisture, which could explain what's been going on here with this issue. As it stands at the moment, I can clear this issue and the car will start just fine. But I think it could return. So two things. I think it could either mean that my throttle position sensor is indeed on its way out and it's going to be a dead Norwegian blue parrot, essentially, or it's to do with interference with the connector. So I'm going to have a look at seeing whether I can disconnect the TPS. Should be reasonably straightforward to do. It's right at the back of the engine, so it could be quite fiddly. I may have to remove some bits to get to it, but I'll have a go at that. I'll probably get some electrical cleaners, spray the connections, clean it all up, and then get some dielectric grease, stodge that into both the connector and also TPS, and then reconnect it and then see if the fault reoccurs. Otherwise, if that doesn't fix it or if the issue then subsequently reoccurs, then I think we're looking at having to source a TPS, which could be a little bit fiddly. It's a Denso unit, but it seems that the genuine Denso units are no longer available. I think it was an exclusive partnership to Jaguar, to JLR. So very often you have to actually buy the throttle body just to get the original sensor, which can be quite expensive. There are aftermarket TPSs out there. We may try one of them as a stopgap, but let's not jump to conclusions. I think the first thing to do is just try clean up the connections for the TPS. So right at the back of the engine here, I'm just highlighting
the connection for the throttle position sensor on my 2003 Jaguar S-Type R, and this is obviously the V8 with a supercharger. So you can see here we've got the supercharger pipe coming through here, the air intake for the supercharger. But just here you can see we've got this clip, and what we should be able to do with the clip is just get a screwdriver in between the edge of that clip, loosen it, and then free that clip off. And then the intention is to inspect the condition, then look to clean it up using some electrical connection cleaner, and then apply some high temperature silicone grease into the socket. And also, whilst it's off, you can see those 4 exposed wires. Well, I may actually put a little bit of grease on the entry ports there, on each of them, and then use some insulating tape, some electrical insulating tape, just to provide a bit of protection against the potential water ingress. Okay, I've put some high temperature silicone grease around that and cleaned that up with some electrical connection cleaner. Just sprayed it on, left it for about 20 minutes or so. I also did the same for the other end of the connection pot as well. So what I'm now going to do is have a look at this and see about just putting some insulation tape around here and a bit of grease around here as well, just to provide a bit of resistance to any water. So here we are with the connector. Just use some electrical insulating tape there just to build up a kind of a protective sheath or cone. So when I plug this back in, hopefully this will provide some protection against any water drains that are coming in close contact with this connection. Okay, that's now clicked back into place, and you can see there I've kind of got a nice protective shroud around that made up of insulating tape. So hopefully now all that's next to do is take for a bit of a run, and then we'll go and get connected with the Jaguar JLR SDD IDS and check and scan for any codes. Well, I've just come back from a 20-mile test drive, and I'm really pleased to report that there are no issues. She's driving really well, so no reoccurrence of the issues with the TPS, which is really good news. Performance is where I'd expect it to be. Idle is spot on, so we're not seeing any surging or anything like that at all, which was symptomatic with what was going on with the faulty TPS. Of course, that can all change. If you read around on the internet, you'll see that TPS issues can be very much intermittent. They can be very frequent, they can be very intermittent. Some people report having up to 8-9 month gaps between incidents, so I don't think we're quite out of the woods yet. As such, I have ordered a replacement TPS. It is a Chinese copy, but it's the only ones that are available. It's about £15. I think that's due to arrive in the next week or so. So if I do have a reoccurrence of the TPS issue, with all the warning lights, the loss of power, the ASC being unavailable, parking brake errors, all that kind of stuff, then I will be looking to replace the Denso TPS with the Chinese copy. And if that doesn't work, then I think I'll be looking at quite an expensive acquisition of a full throttle body, which will actually come with a brand new original Denso TPS on the side of it as well, and I'll just be looking to fit that. So that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you found some of this useful. Plenty more videos coming along very soon.